Okay, I'm continuing on with number 3. I'm not certain how I'm going to get this video made. My iPad has no storage and I don't know what to do about it. So I'm so sorry the last video cut off. I deleted everything else I could think of. So I was on this denominator. It's a difference of squares, so I put 2 parentheses, one with the plus, one with the minus. The square root of m squared is m, and the square root of 4f squared is 2f, because 2f times 2f is 4f squared. So now I don't have that denominator anymore because it factored out to be this. So now I'm going to see what I can cross out. So I have an m plus 2f on the diagonal I can cancel out. I also can do something with this diagonal. I can divide both of these by 2. 10 divided by 2 makes a 5, and 6 divided by 2 makes a 3. So now, in the numerator, I have a 5, and in the denominator, I have a 3 and an m minus 2f. And where do we see that? A. Okay, so that was division, and we changed it to multiplying. Okay, number 4. This is also division. This right here is where you would see a division bar. Okay, so I'm going to start factoring everything I can think of to factor. This right here has a GCF, so I'm going to take the 3 out. Then I'm left with b squared minus 4. And I actually can do more to that. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Divided by this guy. This has a GCF of a 6b, so I'm going to take that out. 6b times b makes your 6b squared, and 6b times 2 makes your 12b. Okay, where I see this division bar, I'm going to put this kind of division bar. Now, I'm going to flip this one over. So this is actually going to go on top. So I'm going to look at this first. This has a GCF of a 10b, so I'm going to take that out. 10b times b makes a 10b squared, and 10b times 2 makes your 20b. And then this is going to go down here. So this has a GCF of a 5, so I'm going to take that out. And then b goes inside, because 5 times b is 5b. And negative 2 goes inside, because 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Oh, and this is, sorry, I ended up changing that to multiplication because I went ahead and I flipped my fraction. So this right here was division. I'm taking this fraction and dividing by this fraction. So I keep, change, flip. So keep, I changed it to multiplication, and I flipped. Okay, now this guy is a difference of squares. 2 terms, a minus, even exponent, 4 is a perfect square. So that's when you do 2 parentheses, one with the plus, one with the minus. The square root of b squared is b, because b times b is b squared. And the square root of 4 is 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so that's gone. All right, let's see what I can get rid of. Okay, I have a b plus 2 up here and a b plus 2 down here that can go. I have a b minus 2 up here that can cancel with a b minus 2 down here. I can cancel this b out right here with that b out. Okay, I can do a few things with my fractions. The 10 and 5, I can divide both of those by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I can divide both of these by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Let's see what I have left. Up top, I have 1 times 2, which is 2, and a b plus 2. And on bottom, I have 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay, so up top, I have 1 times 2, which is 2, and the b plus 2. And on bottom, I have 2 times 1, which is 2, and then those 2's can cancel out. So all I have left is b plus 2, which is answer choice D. Okay, number 5. Now I'm adding. So I need to factor anything that can factor and find a common denominator. So this is a difference of squares, so it factors 2 sets of parentheses, one with a plus, one with a minus. The square root of m squared is m, because m times m is m squared, and the square root of 25 is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. Nothing else can factor, so I'm going to recopy everything else. Okay, now I have to figure out who the least common denominator is going to be. So I look in my denominator, m plus 5 is a factor, it happens once, so I need it once. And m minus 5 is a factor, it happens once on the left, once on the right, so I need it once. So the greatest number of times it happens is once. Once on the left, once on the right, so that's the greatest amount. So I need both denominators to have an m plus 5 and an m minus 5. So my first fraction's good to go, but my second fraction, who is he missing? The m minus 5. And if you multiply the m plus 5. And if you multiply the denominator by m plus 5, you have to multiply the numerator by m plus 5. Okay, so my first fraction will just stay put. So 30 over m plus 5 times m minus 5 plus my second one, I'm going to multiply the numerator. So this is a positive 3 that's getting distributed. So 3 times m is 3m, and 3 times 5 is 15. And now that's over an m plus 5 and an m minus 5, just like the first fraction. Okay, when you add and subtract fractions, as long as the denominator is the same, it just stays the same. So when you add and subtract fractions, you don't do anything to the denominator, it just recopies. But we do need to clean up the numerator. So I need to take 30 plus 3m plus 15. So the 3m has nobody to combine with, so that's just going to recopy. But I can combine the 30 and 15 to get 45. Now, sometimes you're done here. Now, if you look at the answer choices, none of the answer choices say this, so that means we can do something else. We can factor out a GCF from the numerator, and it's a 3. 3 is the biggest number that can go into 3 and 45, so I'm going to take it out. So 3 times m makes the 3m, and 3 times 15 makes the 45, and then I'm going to recopy the denominator. Now, I thought by doing this that I might be able to cancel out either here or here, but these don't cancel out. So it looks like this is exactly how D looks. So D is our winner. So we factored out that GCF just in case we could cross out those factors or we could cross out those factors. They didn't end up crossing out, but D's the winner. Okay. My iPad is not turned off on me, so that's a good sign. I gotta keep moving. Okay, these denominators almost look the same. The m is positive here, but negative here. The 6 is negative here, but positive here. So I need to take a negative 1 out of this, and then the signs will switch. That negative m will become positive now, and that positive 6 will become negative. Okay, so what that means is this is gone, and a minus a negative turns into addition. So this minus a negative is just going to turn into addition. So now all I'll have is m minus 6 in that denominator and m minus 6 in this denominator. Nothing's happening to the numerators, they just recopy. So the 7 recopies and the m recopies. So I took a negative 1 out, so the m and the minus 6 could look just like this, and then the minus the negative made addition. So when you add fractions, if your denominators are the same, which they are, the denominator just stays put, and you work the numerator. Well, 7 plus m, you can't actually do that, so it would just stay 7 plus m or m plus 7. And that's as good as it gets. You can't cross those m's out because the m is attached to a plus and this m is attached to a minus, so this is it. So B is our winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, least common multiple. So I need a factor. This guy has a GCF, and so does this guy. So this one's GCF is a 7, so I'm going to take it out. and inside will be m minus 3, because 7 times m is 7m. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. This one's GCF is a 14. I'm going to take that out. And inside would be m minus 3. 14 times m is 14m, and 14 times negative 3 is negative 42. Okay, so to figure out the least common multiple, first I look at the constants out in front, and what is the smallest number 7 and 14 can both divide into? 14. So 14 is going to be one of my pieces to my least common multiple. And then m minus 3 is a factor. It happens once here and once here, so I need it once. And this is my least common multiple, which is answer choice D. Okay, number 8's the same, except these guys, instead of having GCFs, are A times C rooftop, the easy one. So A times C here is negative 12. And you want the numbers to add to make the negative 1 that's in the middle. So the two numbers that do that are negative 4 and positive 3. So it's going to be 2 parentheses, negative 4 in the back, positive 3 in the back. To get t squared, it's t and t in the front. Okay, this one I'm going to do the same thing. A times C rooftop. So A times C, 1 times negative 24. That's negative 24. I want them to add to make the 2 in the middle. So what two numbers do that? 6 and negative 4, multiply to make negative 24, and add to make 2. So I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses. The positive 6 goes in the back. The minus 4 goes in the back. And to get my t squared, t goes in the front. Okay, now I'm ready. Now that everything's factored, I can figure out the least common multiple. So t minus 4 is a factor. It happens once on the left, once on the right. So the greatest number of times it happens is once. So I need it once. T plus 3 is a factor. It happens only one time, ever. So I need it one time. And t plus 6 is a factor. It happens only one time ever. So I need it one time. And this would be my least common multiple, which is A. So A has it written in a different order, but it says the same thing as what I have. Okay, number 9, vertical asymptotes. I'm going to factor anything that can factor here, numerator and denominator. So the numerator, however, does not factor. There's no GCF. It's not a difference of squares, so it's going to stay put. But I can factor my denominator. A times C rooftop, easy one. So A times C, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. And I want them to add to make 2. So the numbers that do that are positive 3 and negative 1. I can go straight to my parentheses, put the positive 3 in the back, put the minus 1 in the back,